up, my loves? It's your girl Diamond, and I'm back with my all-new review of the Belle Collective. We have made it to the reunion. It was only 7 episodes, and this is a one-part reunion, which was very good because not a lot happened this season. And we see the ladies arrive on stage. This is the one thing I've never understood when it came down to the reunions of Belle Collective. There's never a clear theme. The women are all dressed in different colors. It's like, where's the cohesiveness? Where is everybody coming in on one accord? Never there. Because half the cast are wearing like a royal blue, while 2 other castmates are wearing totally different colors. Letitia, Marie, Tambra, and Selena are all wearing the same shade of blue. Their dresses are all different styles, probably made by the same designer. Latrice is wearing this silver champagne dress, and Carrie is wearing this bright coral pink dress. So wonky, so not cohesive. It's just thrown together. The stage set was pretty. So we start off with Marie and Latrice's time on the show and how they started off the season being cool with one another because they've had an ongoing beef since the show started. And people was kind of tired of seeing Marie and Latrice constantly go back and forth. And, you know, they had a talk and said, let's just move forward. Now, Latrice never really had any deep issues with Marie, so it wasn't hard for her to be cool. We know Marie came out the gate of attacking Latrice first. And Latrice says she enjoys this side of Marie. And it's the side of Marie getting a man. You know what I'm saying? Because she actually is busy doing something. She got a life. Her time is being spent doing something else, but she's not so focused on what Latrice got going on. And we did see a flashback of how they always were throwing shit at each other. Latrice trying to give herself props on how she started the group. And, you know, Carlos asked, how does the group stand to this day? She said she doesn't think that this is a safe space for her, which I call cap and bullshit, because she still wants to put all the blame on Latrice. Latrice feels no ways. She's like, I don't have no control over anybody. I don't have no responsibility for anybody. I don't owe her an apology. I don't owe her an explanation on how she feels. How she feels is how she feels. And I am 100% standing on what Latrice is saying. Because how dare you, Letitia, to say this isn't a safe space for you when you've done the exact same shit to other people. You have made them not feel this is a safe space. So how dare you use your victim card that you are swiping until the credit is no more? Girl, let it. I can't. Like, Letitia pissed me off like she normally does whenever she's on my screen. And the way she played the victim card so hard this episode was just like, girl, miss me with that. So Carlos wants to know from Marie and Tambra, who have been there from the beginning, do they understand how Letitia feels? Tambra said, I do, because I was in her position 2 years ago when they did it to me. So we flash back to a couple of years ago when Marie and Letitia decided to sit down with Tambra Stalker to gain information. When Marie confronted Tambra about it, she walked out like, I'm not doing this with you. I wish they would have talked about it more because Letitia was never really held accountable for doing that to Tambra. So while it was mentioned, it just got shut down all over again. Because Tambra said when the group shows up, the group shows up. But we're not getting to the root of the issue, which is Marie and Letitia getting a pass for doing something so hurtful to another person, but putting all that blame on Latrice doing it to her. I don't like it. Marie feels shocked by the relationship between Letitia and Latrice. She just can't believe it. How? Marie, when you constantly have told Letitia that Latrice was never a friend. Latrice is a snake, Letitia. I told you. She's a snake. She was never your friend. She did that to hurt you, Letitia. Remember that? That's what you said. Letitia is working overtime to try to convince everybody to turn against Latrice, to say she has done the most heinous thing ever to a friend, and to say, what kind of girl code do you have of laughing at my pain? Girl, fuck you. Nobody's laughing at your pain. What we are is laughing at the fact that you're still with this man. That's what we're laughing at. Get the fuck out of here. And again, very happy that Latrice did not take the bait to feel sorry for you. She said, you're such a great actor. Carlos, you need to pitch her for a movie. Because at the end of the day, this victimhood you still want to be in, Letitia, is going to get old. It's getting tired. It's not landing. Nobody's believing you. Nobody is feeling sorry for you because you have already been through this before. But you want to make it a bigger deal because Latrice got involved in it. Get the fuck out of here. So now we move on to Carrie's package, which I did not like. They only wanted to introduce Carrie as a way for her to defend her opinion about calling Jackson ratchet. She said it is what it is. Jackson is ratchet. Y'all don't want to say it, but y'all get upset when somebody else say it. Now, Tambra is the only one who wants to speak up about the situation that's not even this damn deep in my opinion. And to say, do you not see this right here? Okay, this is Jackson. This is not the coast, okay? Because Jackson is the capital of the state of Mississippi, okay? So we're from here, so we don't have to say it, but you don't get to say it. I said, okay, Tambra, whatever. However you try to slice it, dice it, you guys are ratchet, okay? Leave it alone. Carrie stands on the fact that it's ratchet. Hell, she calls herself ratchet because she said, I rep the Gulf Coast, Mississippi all day, every day. That's me. She said, talk is cheap, okay? Slick shade is cheap. It's how you represent. It's how you put them words into action. And that's what I feel about Carrie. Because Carrie strikes me as the type of person who means what she says and says what she means, because I know that we only saw a clip of her and Matt talking about how Jackson's a country place, as if y'all don't recognize y'all live in a country place. And for Tambra to be the main one, so vocal and so passionate about defending it, it's like, okay, show up then, Tambra. Show us how much you love Jackson. Show us how much you want to improve Jackson, so Jackson wouldn't be something people just overlook on the map. Because if you live in a ratchet city, you live in a ratchet city. It is what it is. Everybody has ratchet city. It's not just you. But for you to think you're above being called ratchet when you have displayed ratchet behavior before, when you have witnessed ratchet behavior before, please don't piss me off with that shit. Don't think you're better. Don't think you're above people. Like Tambra, please. Okay? So now we're introduced to Tambra's storyline. Carlos was being a bit shady when he put out the information about Tambra's storyline, but I think he had to do something, because what has Tambra shown us when she's been on this show? What has Tambra been involved in? What has she talked about? Absolutely nothing. We only talk about the one scene she had with Demont, and that was about their financials and how they met up with a financial advisor. So now that we're in the present time, Demont has not opened up to Tambra about his finances. She was asked, does she think that Demont is broke? She says no. So she believes that he mismanages funds. Elaborate. Does he spend it more than he can see it? And where does it go? Does he not recognize how much money he's spending? What is he spending his money on? And they did agree to have a joint account, but they have not done that. And she was asked, are you afraid of him putting you in a situation that's going to have you financially strained? She kind of gave a two-part answer, that even if the account was created, she's never going to put herself in that position of being without. It's not a bad thing to be wary of making sure your money is kept safe. But that's all Tambra wanted to talk about, because we didn't talk about wedding. We didn't talk about what is the state of their relationship, because Tambra has kept that part completely private, completely shut off. If you don't want to talk about your life, Tambra, then you need to get off the show. Period, point blank. And don't keep on hovering over him to open up to you about his money. If he's contributing enough to be there as London Simone's father, then expect nothing else from him. Still make sure you and London Simone are taken care of at the end of the day, okay? Still put you and your daughter first. Don't worry about him. So now Carlos asked the rest of the ladies, do they all have separate accounts or do they have joint accounts with their husbands? They all shook their head, I think, to both of them. And Letitia says she has a separate and a joint account. And she gives us a sob story from the first season when she first left Glenn. And pretty much made him the breadwinner and that he was the one who controlled the money. Because she said that Glenn took her off her jobs when she had their son. So when she reached her breaking point, her first breaking point, she said, I'm done. And she left with nothing but $4 and some change to her name. And that was at a time when she couldn't afford a hamburger. So her cousin asked her, so what are you going to do? So obviously we see the fact that she went back to Glenn, forgave him, wanted to stick it out. And I guess she learned from the first mistake, I'm not going to leave without again. I'm going to put some money to the side and make sure I'm left with a cushion. And she had to leave for the sake of getting her own peace. And then throw out there that men like to control you with money. I don't ever want to be in that position again. So I always have to make sure I have something safe put aside for me in case something does happen. Well, when has that gonna happen? Well, when will that happen, Letitia? Because you're still sticking by him. So how much cushion are you trying to save up for? So when the men come out on stage, we ask Cliff about the condo situation, and it's pretty much handled. They pretty much split time between the condo and the home. We get introduced a new husband, Matt, but we didn't talk about him. We went to Cedric, and we were talking about Marie's introduction to the season, where she had two men in her life, Martin, the white German, and how she was thinking about rekindling with her ex-husband. Now we talk about one of the reasons why they got divorced. It was because of infidelity. Cedric, wanted to not let that be the narrative. And he talked about an analogy of a pancake flipping onto the other side or something. And to say, I'm a man of my own castle. Marie is a queen of her own castle. But he pretty much wants the traditional mindset of his wife submitting to him. And Marie said, I have no problem with being submissive, but I can't trust you to lead. How can I feel safe if you can't be trustworthy? Then she's talking about when she was going through her marriage, that she's had women calling her, say, I'm Mrs. So-and-so, I'm this, I'm that. But she has said she hasn't had any issues like that recently. And he's proven himself to be a leader, and therefore she can respect him as much as he can respect her. That is some bullshit. I don't know what it is you see in this man, Marie. This man don't look like you're breaking your back off. You look like you're breaking his back off, in my opinion. Carlos wants to know, do any of the men want a submissive wife? Of course, you hear Glenn say yes. Cliff said, not really. You want to challenge every now and again. Even though, Cliff, you did display that you wanted Latrice to be seen and not heard. But Matt being a real man, that said he doesn't use that word submission. He doesn't like it because he believes that there's an equal balance in a marriage. If there are times where I fall short, she lifts me up. And it's vice versa. She falls short, I lift her up. We work with each other. I don't view my wife lower than me, and she doesn't view me lower than her, and I love that. We are both each other's strengths. That's a good man right there, Savannah. Now, what I want to know is, because the way that Cliff and Glenn came at Willie for having that same exact mindset of appreciating his wife and viewing his wife as an equal, are y'all going to say the same thing about Matt too? Or y'all not going to make that mistake again? Because I don't think Matt is the type that's going to allow for y'all to sway his mindset on treating his wife differently, because I do think that Matt loves and appreciates Carrie. So we got Marie. She decided to put her wedding ring back on the right finger. Are there any wedding bells in the future? She says she don't need to have a contract to show her love to somebody. Okay, fine. We get to Selena's package. She talks about her communication issues with Mike and talking about her son and how they set a date with the wedding. She said the date is April 4th, but things can change. So another problem is the fact that Mike goes out too much. We talk about Selena's grief after losing her son, and she appreciated all of the ladies showing up for her. And yesterday was the anniversary of her son's passing, and the day of the reunion was her son's birthday. Happy birthday. We now talk about Latrice, where she opened up for the first time to talking about her brothers. And she said it's always going to be a tough conversation to talk about my brothers. And it is a reason why she doesn't want to have any children, because she would hate to lose her child that way. As much as she is still feeling the loss of her brothers, she would hate to feel the loss of losing a child. Pastor Cedric wanted to come in and said that is a very sad fear to have. Don't be afraid of having your own children. We were there for Selena. We can be there for you. Step out on faith. Latrice don't want no children, first of all. Okay? I think she's expressed that she doesn't believe she could be a good mother based on how she was raised. And it's not a bad fear that a lot of people have. Lots of people can have the ability to have children, but can they see themselves as being a parent? And I do think that Latrice doesn't want to be stuck with Cliff in that way. While she is married to him, she doesn't want nothing else to bind her with him. Because I think if she was to have children with him, he would pretty much forbid her from having her own life. and make her be a stay-at-home wife and mother. That's why she loves being out. That's why she loves being independent. Because if she ever was to have kids by him, he would take away her freedom. Just like that. And I feel like that's what she's in fear of. Losing her freedom if she ever was to have children by him. So now we get into the DM situation. And it was revealed that Carlos was selecting new Bells. And that Latrice had submitted her name, Amanda, as well as 2 other females. Letitia pops up and said when the other Bells left, her, Marie, and Latrice got on a 3-way phone call and they were on the same page about who they wanted to bring into the group. And then Tisha said something about Amanda being selected, but Latrice wasn't sure if she was going to be selected. But Letitia wanted to have a backhanded way of saying, well, even if she didn't get selected, once you mention anything about me, you're going to get camera time. It is what it is. So she feels set up by Latrice because Amanda wasn't officially selected as a Belle. So she thought that Latrice and Amanda came up with a scheme to embarrass her with this DM situation. Okay, Letitia, you are not that important. While you are explaining the situation, it can be a possibility that Amanda felt some type of way about her not being selected when she had already talked about being selected for the show, because I remember her Millie Chung interview where she was offered to be a part of the show before since the beginning, but she couldn't do it at the time because her wife didn't want her on the show. So this wasn't something that was just created out of the blue to come at you, Letitia. But, okay, Letitia, you want to say it was a setup because Amanda wasn't a Belle? Fine. I just think that Amanda thought she could use any opportunity she can to still make her way onto the show, and she did. Whether or not it was using your husband to expose him and embarrass you, fine, take it how you want to take it. At the end of the day, if your husband did not put himself in that position to be exposed, we wouldn't be here. So let go of that mindset that everybody comes onto the show to come after you, and that if they mention you, they're going to get camera time, please. But typical Glenn, he wants to grandstand and say that when him and his wife was working on their issues and they were going through their journey, he now wants to use the plight about I'm raising a black male. He's computer savvy. He goes on social media. He sees this. He's going to want to know, is this how you treated my mom? Well, sir, you've been doing that before the show. So you're on a different platform where everybody can see the way you've been treating his mom. So you can't get mad about other people having an opinion of what we are seeing you treat your wife. And don't use the whole plight of y'all coming at me, y'all making my son feel like this. You're making your son feel like this, nigga. Don't ever use that rhetoric again. I can't stand men who wants to say, well, y'all coming at me when I'm raising a black son. How is he going to feel when he sees this? If you stop doing shit for him to see, you can't protect him from the shit that you're doing, Glenn. That's the whole thing where you don't want to be accountable for. The shit that you're doing is going to come back to your child, and your child is going to be hurt by it. So if you stop doing stupid shit, your son won't feel hurt by it. So asking Glenn, does he blame Latrice and Cliff? He said, I blame them to an extent. Why? They didn't do nothing to you. So I don't know what Latrice was talking about how Latrice tried to come down on her. She said, first of all, me and my husband have no reason to come after you. Why would we come for you? And then, here go Letitia. She's a snake. She's a slimy individual, like I told y'all. So then Letitia decides to reveal a recording that she got about Latrice and Cliff arguing at the restaurant, and that the police was called, and Letitia knew about it but didn't want to bring it up. But in this moment, because she didn't like that she was humiliated over information she didn't know, now she wants to expose Latrice and Cliff about how they had an incident that maybe they didn't want nobody to know. But how is it that Letitia thinks she can choose who should be humiliated and who should be exposed or not, because she didn't like how she got exposed? Because that recording had nothing to do with you. You literally tried to expose them over a situation that nobody else knew. But now that you wanted other people to know, now everyone's going to want to know what happened. And everybody's going to be expecting for Latrice and Cliff to talk about it the next season. Because as a friend, as what you keep on preaching, Letitia, you wouldn't want your friends to be put out there like that. So you want to use that same rhetoric of, since you did not help me to cover up my shit, I'm not going to cover up your shit. But that wasn't even your place to reveal that. So you really are that petty and angry. You're going to reveal something that happened to Latrice and Cliff because you didn't like that you weren't protected. You weren't lied for to protect what happened between you and Glenn, as if Latrice was gonna lie about Amanda not receiving DMs from Glenn, not trying to hit her up, not trying to see what was up with her. The incident didn't happen that Taste where he came up behind her and grabbed her waist. Really? Okay. So Latrice was like, you can come up with all kind of excuses to move the goalposts and bring up situations that had nothing to do with you, because you are mad at me and you're not mad at your husband. Because Letitia and Glenn, y'all can't get mad about how the situation came about because your husband put himself in that position. Letitia is still getting upset to pinpoint her problem between her and Latrice. The only problem is the fact that you weren't covered. That's the only thing. You weren't protected in the situation. But instead of you being mad at Latrice, you need to be mad at Glenn. Glenn did not protect you in this situation. You want to still blame how the information got out, but not confront your husband as to why he's still doing the same shit you told him not to do? So we talk about what was said in the DMs. I think he said, I think you're beautiful or whatever, and I'm with Latrice. As a married man, you should not be in the DMs. No matter what your reasons are at the time, what you wanted to say, you should not be in them, period. So when the DMs were presented to us on the stage, you can tell that he deleted some of the conversations. So it started off with a happy birthday video was sent to him. Letitia and Glenn were trying to downplay that he was wrong putting himself in that position. And as the messages are being shown, we see that Tambra and Latrice are whispering about the information they got from Amanda, and it's not the same as what they're reading off in the messages, because they were like, wasn't it supposed to be back in February? Wasn't they in the car together? I'm so confused. So these messages they're reading off is back in 2024. And Tamara was like, oh, so it started from the DMs, but it went further than that. Yeah. I just wish that Tambra and Latrice was a bit louder about what they know, especially Tambra, because Tambra has been on mute ever since she knew about the situation, and she didn't want to be involved in it, but she sure got a lot to add in this conversation right here. And when we see the message on the screen and Carlos is reading these messages out loud, you can tell that the way that Amanda was responding, that Glenn was asking her things. Glenn was inquiring about things. But we didn't see his starting the conversation. We just see Amanda's response. And then I think Carlos asked Latrice, are these the same messages that Amanda showed her? She said, no, they're not. And then here go Glenn and Letitia. No. This is the one that Amanda got. This is the one that Amanda showed me. I got the messages. This is what she showed me. She said no, because she talked about how Glenn reached out to Amanda first trying to get her number. Oh, was that on Facebook? Yeah, that was on Facebook. It doesn't fucking matter where it was, Letitia. Stop trying to add semantics in ways that it happened. It shouldn't happen to begin with. So like, I'm with Latrice. I don't care how y'all try to twist it and make it seem as if it's not what it is, because it looks as if they're trying to paint Amanda out to be thirsty and that she was trying to reach out to Glenn and he wasn't giving her no time of day, when it was the opposite. Glenn was the thirsty one. I so appreciate Latrice for standing on her shit and calling out Letitia. Don't try to downplay something and then put me out to be the whole problem, because to say that I hurt you when it was your husband that did this, hold your husband accountable instead of holding the world accountable, because you're putting everybody else responsible for what your husband did. And I have to agree with that. So at the end of the day, Carlos says after reading these DMs, they were inappropriate and you shouldn't have did it. So Glenn takes accountability, but I honestly think he only took accountability because Carlos said he should have. And the thing about it is, seeing him, Letitia, sit on that stage while Glenn is wearing them glasses under a lighted scene, a lighted set. Why are you wearing glasses inside? I don't understand. He honestly don't think he needs to be in this position. He honestly don't think he needs to be questioned like this, as if he didn't do anything wrong, but he did. So asking him, where does him and Cliff stand? Cliff said, that's my friend, that's my guy. Glenn said, this was my house and it happened to him. I would shut it down. Fuck you. And Latrice called out the fact that Glenn is not Cliff's friend and neither is Tisha. And I love the fact that Latrice is calling for what it is. So now we get into the question. Why was that question being asked? She said, I had nothing to do with it. Several people helped me with the game. I had nothing to do with that question. So Carlos revealed she wasn't around when that question was written down. And then Cedric wanted to know, why was that question asked? How was that kind of question being presented? Look, Cedric, nobody's talking to you. Sit the fuck back. You're not even in this situation. And I feel like y'all mad about a question. If y'all don't get mad about a question that shouldn't apply to you, and if it did, y'all should have a better way of controlling y'all reaction. Because Glenn, you were instantly guilty as soon as that question got asked, and Amanda backed it up with what you were lying about. If the simplest things piss you off so easily, then you have a problem, and you can't put that on nobody else. So then Marie was asked, do you think Latrice had anything to do with it? And do you think Latrice has been a good friend to Letitia? She thinks she has something to do with it, and she don't think Latrice has been a good friend. But while she wants to be in a good space with Latrice, that is her opinion. I don't trust you, Marie, because you wasted no time to flip it back to Latrice is a snake. I told you, Letitia. I told you. She knew them questions was going to be asked. She knew that, Letitia. I told you. Fuck you, Marie. But then she also stands on the fact she don't feel sorry for Letitia because she's been through this before. Why are you shocked now? Glendale Lyon, when he was asked, was there any attraction between him and Amanda? Did he find Amanda attractive? You did. Letitia still grasping at straws with what she has been hurt by Latrice because she didn't like the way that Latrice stood up and laughed while somebody body shamed her. Did Amanda body shame her, or was that your insecurity as to what you took from what she said? Because we go back to the hair salon where she talked about, look at what Glenn married to and look at what he won. That could be a range of plenty of different reasons, but you chose body type. Okay, it's because you're insecure of your body shape. And listen, to be honest, you and a man are not that far off. Y'all are both chocolate women. A man might be just a little bit slimmer than you, but she's still thick. At the end of the day, girl, don't act as if you ain't called out nobody else's shame. Don't act like you've never made nobody feel less than or embarrassed. Don't act like you haven't done it. You said the same thing to Akeisha when you told her family didn't want her. You told her she was already part of this platform. You made sure to bring Selena around Gucci when Gucci didn't want to be around her after they fought. You created a narrative about Latrice being an alcoholic and that she was in an abusive marriage. You wanted to have someone creep into Willie's DMs to make a scandal out of their marriage. Need I go on? So you can fucking miss me with that shit. You said the most heinous things and hurtful things to other people before. So don't act like this is the most horrific thing anybody's ever said about you. Fuck you, Letitia. The nerve of her to say that I know I got a big back, but I can't carry y'all no more. Who have you carried? To be honest, who has brought this show to this point though, Letitia? It wasn't you and Glenn. Latrice has brought this show. Akeisha has brought things to this show. Gucci has brought things to this show. I think Carrie can bring something else to this show. Other people have added value to this show. It wasn't just you. You ain't saved this show. You are not the one that's been a part of this show that we are interested in seeing and watching. Good night and goodbye. Fuck you, Letitia. If you want to talk about people who have skated past talking about the relationship, put Tambra on the list. Put a name on it, ho. The fuck out of here. Letitia want to put it out there that all's fair in Belle Collective. All is fair. So she is putting down the sisterhood, the empowerment, because now she wants everybody to be accountable for what they're going to bring up, what they're going to talk about. Okay, Tisha, since you put out there all's fair in Belle Collective, I don't want to hear shit about how you feel away if somebody brings you shit. If all's fair and you got some shit you ready to expose, bring receipts. Bring them. Since you want to say nobody's exempt, everybody got to put their work in, okay. I hope you got the balls and the receipts to back it up. Because if we come back next season and you ain't got shit to say, but you get mad if somebody else brings you shit, you are all talk and no action, okay? So as far as what's going on between them, can they come together? Letitia with Sorrell. Bitch, please. Good night. Carrie wants to give her perspective by believing there is something there. They just got to find their way back. And that was pretty much the end of the season. The men leave the stage. We're talking about what they got going on. Selena's working on her vintage earring line. She has a pop-up shop and a little launch. Tambra is still in radio, and that when she was pregnant, she created a product that helped reduce the appearance of stretch marks, and that she's working with a black scientist. How come we couldn't see that on the show? I understand that that was the first time Tambra experienced pregnancy and how she really wanted to keep her peace and keep her privacy for it. But I would have liked it if she did have a moment where she talked about how she navigated motherhood and how she felt about changes going through her body, and that she wanted to venture into this new realm of entrepreneurship. I create a product that can help women reduce the marks of stretch marks. I would have loved to see that. I don't know why she doesn't talk about it. Carrie is, of course, excited about her 3 locations for her restaurants. She would love to expand across the state in Jackson, but that's going to be a little bit of a money thing, but she's going to reach for it. And Marie, she's going to still open her methadone clinics, and she is expanding her hair brand, and she is waiting for Essie to tell her she can completely retire. Latrice is about creating more businesses, and she wants to, I guess, open and renovate more condos. She wants at least 30 of them, which is really, really good. Letitia, she ain't got nothing going on. She just said, I want to stay in therapy, continue to pray. So you have no businesses. Got it. And they close out the season by giving Carrie a bell because she's a new belle. And that's it. That's all. Congratulations to a successful season. But we get some dressing room footage of Latrice, Cliff, and Tambra about how she's calling out the lies that Letitia and Glenn was trying to pull. And like, girl, how I hurt you. Girl, I feel so betrayed. Girl, it's your husband that's betraying you. It's your husband that's hurting you. Like she said it before when they went out of town. I can name from A to Z of all the things you've done to me. And I've never betrayed you. I have been a loyal friend to you. And Tambra giving her 2 cents by saying, you know, you've been in this plenty of times. So I don't know why you are looking as if you've never been through this before. But I really wish that Tambra could speak up more. What, you afraid of Letitia? You don't really fool with her, so I don't know why you're not telling her to her face about how you feel. And to say, when have I ever had the opportunity to ever set her up? When? That is your husband. Your husband's the one that's set up to betray you. Tisha, you are the lowest of the low. And I am not upset at Latrice pretty much being honest, finally, about how she feels and how she has been loyal to Tisha. Now she's like, fuck it, I'm going to call you out some shit you think I didn't know, but I did. Now, I know when they ended the season, we literally saw the end of her confessional, where it's a part of closing out the reunion, where she is saying, it's over, I'm done. I'm not going to fight for Letitia not to build our friendship. It's over, it's done. The producer thought she was looking sad, so I'm really not. I just think that Latrice has a very nervous twitch tick, where she could be hurt by where her and Letitia are, but at the same point in time, I do think she is happy that it's over. And that was the end of the season. Again, nothing really got accomplished this season. We really didn't talk about anything that was real. We only got down to the main portion of what happened this season, and that was the DMs. But even the DMs really wasn't what we wanted. It would have been better if Amanda was on stage to tell her side. But I heard that Letitia made a way for her to not tell her side. So we only heard from Letitia and Glenn's side, the side that they want everyone to believe, but I don't. And that was pretty much the end of the season, the end of the episode. All right, Belle Collective, if I was to rate this season, I would say maybe like a 6, 7. Wasn't really much. I do enjoy the new addition of Carrie coming in, but it's the same old, same old. The only thing that we had anything of excitement was Amanda and the situation with the DMs. Y'all really need to bring Amanda back on the show, okay? Because I don't know what else y'all gonna bring next season. I don't know what's going on here, but y'all better come back with more next season. But that's it. That's all. Please stay tuned for my next video, and I'll see you guys later. Bye.